Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 1 versus 1 on Carpiquet. This is the Duellists version of the map, and in this one we're going to be seeing Salt versus Gibster. So this is a replay sent in by Salt. He wanted me to basically view it and see what I thought, and I was interested to see how the 2nd Infantry took on the 3rd Fallschirmjager in this map in particular, because this map doesn't really suit either division. It's very open, and I would suggest that the 2nd Infantry has a slight advantage because of the Priest double Ds. So it'll be interesting to see if those come out. But either way, I am planning to do more sort of competitive casting in the future. This is almost a practice for that, and I hope to get Val on board as well so that I can do some more dual casts. So look forward to more of that stuff, but in the meantime, just going to put it to the sideways perspective and we can watch both sides play this out. I'm going to keep it from the neutral perspective and we'll talk through both sides' strategies throughout the game. So what I'm likely to see, I think, is mostly just like the Fallschirmjagers pushing down the bottom side through these trees, covered by LG40s would probably be a quite nice idea actually. And then maybe in the top side as well, because there are these bunkers here. Getting an infantry squad to those bunkers would be very nice for the German player. Salt, however, he's going to be relying, I think, on his double Ds alongside his ranger support squads, because the support squads work well at a distance. He might also make use of the M5 guns, because they have HE value at 1,200 meter range, so they can also be very useful to deal with the AT guns that the Fallschirmjager player might make use of. There's also going to have to be a lot of recon on this map because it is very wide and open, so relying on recon is something that I'm likely to see. You've got a lot of places on the airfield where you can hide little recon squads, and they have a great line of sight, as you can see. I mean, there's literally nothing obstructing them except from maybe the hangars on either side of the airfield, but that's about it. You get the full range of recon in the middle of the map, so playing around that's going to be very, very important for both players. And before I go on, this is a ranked game, so there was all to play for in this one. It wasn't just a normal custom game that people had made. It wasn't a lobby created game. It was a ranked game, so they're playing for the leaderboard, and that should make it all the more competitive. So I'm very much looking forward to what both players do. On this bottom side, we're going to be seeing an M4 double D at the start of the game. The duplex drive tanks available. Loving it. On the 3rd Fallschirmjager side of things, we've got an MG, we've got a couple of AT guns. These AT guns, the elite AT guns, they might actually struggle to kill off an M4 Sherman. There's also going to be a Panzer L6 on the Germans' right side as well. Gibster going to be using that, accompanied by what looks like an AT gun and some command infantry there, making sure he has all of the command infantry to buff up his AT guns where he needs them. It's going to be quite a large spread of AT guns at the start of the game, honestly, for the 3rd Fallschirmjager. Whereas on the side of Salt, well, he hasn't got barely any. He's got, well, one on the left side, one in the mid, and I think he's going to be relying on this Sherman on the right side to do that job. Now, the only main tanks that Salt has to worry about is the L6s in Phase A, really. Those are the only ones that the 3rd Fallschirmjagers tend to use. But here we are, we're off. And let's have a look at where they're heading. So for Salt, he's going to be pushing quite a lot of units to the right side. Doesn't look like he had enough time to do like unload at position commands. So he's just got them all fast moving to the same location here. Going to be probably unloading the recon into this hangar. Then we've got a couple of infantry squads for the hangars in the centre, alongside the AT gun, which is going to be unloading a little bit earlier. I think I'd like to see these infantry squads actually take up bushes on the runway itself, rather than in the hangars, because you get a lot of presence on the front line by doing so. On this left side, again, very conservative placements of infantry. Gibster maybe not so much. He's pushing on hard at the start. He's going to be deploying in his hangars on this side of the runway, and he's going to be deploying into this factory area. Again, I'd like to see both players be a little bit more like offensive with their troops. Pretty sure that either side could influence the front line quite dramatically by just having an infantry squad a little bit further up, and it's not like this MG34 has a decent enough range to stop, for example, a Ranger support moving up to this bush, which would push the front line to a 51% in Salt's favour, and just pushing one Ranger support squad to try that out seems worth it in my opinion. So it's pretty slow to start, not too much going on. I think both sides are trying to get a feel for each other. Salt's going to be moving up his recon on this side. I'm just interested to see what I can see. Across the board, otherwise, there isn't much in terms of recon for Salt. And he's not bringing up any more, he's bringing up a mortar. On Gibster's side of things, he can't see anything either. Again, a distinct lack of recon is not allowing either player to really spot their enemy moving forwards. We're going to see what looks like an AA piece being brought in to the top side. That's going to be a 37mm anti-air gun. Mortar coming into the bottom side though. Be a little bit careful of the LG and the Pack 41 being so bunched up here, because if Salt can get a spot onto that with the recon squads, then he's going to have a target for his mortar.
Where do you need us?
So this recon squad could also be taking advantage of the line of sight here in order to push up to the next tree lines. But currently what looks like is going to happen, at this top side there's going to be a little bit of a push from Gibster. He's moving forwards with his Fallschirmjagers and Fallschirmführer, and he's following that up with a Panzer L6. Got to be a little bit careful of the M1 gun that is waiting in position to get a shot onto the L6 and will open up once it gets into range. We're looking at the second outer ring. As soon as that L6 comes into range, the M1 gun can open up and the Panzer L6 won't be able to fire back. Here we go. Let's see if we can get the shot. Now that does allow the LG40 to fire back, and this LG40 has a crazy rate of fire. The trouble is 4 HE power isn't enough to necessarily damage the M1 gun directly. Is enough to pin it down though. Ranger supports are waiting for the Fallschirmjagers to get closer, and they're going to open up to try and pin them down quickly. Only trouble is they're being hit by the Panzer L6 as well, now that the M1 gun has been forced to fall back on that side. Nothing else really happening elsewhere. So let's keep an eye on this engagement. Ranger supports haven't really done much damage to the Fallschirmjagers and are now being pinned down. +1 in favour of Gibster right now. Flak 36 is slowly rolling forwards to help out, some recon on the way to make sure that they can spot this M1 gun, but an M4 has been brought up for Salt. It will be interesting to see if that can turn around this engagement. He doesn't want to let the Fallschirmjäger get into these buildings, or he's going to be in a pretty bad spot. These Ranger Assault, they need to get closer so they can actually use their napalm effectively onto the enemy here. So he doesn't want to reveal their position, otherwise that might end badly. Going to be moving the Ranger Assaults there into the building across the road and moving them across into the forest there, then hopefully to this hangar, and maybe if you can get within 100 meter range you can use the napalm there to do the job. More Ranger Assaults moving up. I think on this map Ranger Assaults aren't the best choice. I think just more Ranger supports would be really good. But currently he's having to deal with these Fallschirmjägers and the Fallschirmführer, so getting Ranger Assaults into position doesn't seem like a bad idea at the moment. M4 is getting its machine guns on target. That's 30 cal and a 50 cal there, helping out pin down those Fallschirmjägers, allowing the Ranger Assault to charge them down. Normal rifle squad and a Ranger Marauder coming up for the recon there. +1 still in favour of Gibster. Let's have a look at what Salt can see. Starting to spot some of the fire support here that I was talking about, and that mortar's going to have some lovely shots. Looks like he's going for the counter battery first onto the 81mm mortar there. If he can kill that off, that would work out very nicely. Ranger assaults are going to finish off the Fallschirmjagers quite nicely at that range. Currently though, the LG-40 pinning down the rifles as they try and advance, and the Flak 36 is now able to shoot at the Ranger supports. M4 is taking on the Pak 41 head on. Pak 41 can't really penetrate an M4 from that range. And what's going to happen is the M4 is actually going to destroy the Kubel MG, which is severely going to affect the morale of these units. The Pak 40 goes down there, the mortar was counter batteried already. Ranger assaults get taken out by the sharpshooter. And the Pak 36 there, this Ranger support squad still in trouble as the sharpshooter are continuing to spot them out. A little bit of engagement down the bottom side is working out for Salt at the moment. He's having a lot of pressure put on him on the top side. But the Ranger assault looks like it might have this sorted out. He needs to deal with these Fallschirmjager, and once he does, he's going to gain back a lot of his ground. M4 at the moment in a very nice position here because there's not really too much to counter it. Needs to make sure that it remains on target of the L6 though. He doesn't want the L6 to get too close, otherwise that might rip to shreds some of his infantry. But yeah, meanwhile on the bottom side, Gibster looks like he's going to survive with his LG-40 and his mortar for now. But the Pak 41 went down, so again no threat really for the M4, and that allows the rifles to push forwards. I think what you should probably do in this case is allow the rifles to just be pinned down by this MG34 and charge them with the M4, because the likelihood that they have a second AT gun there after you just destroyed it is pretty low. We are going to be seeing the M7 come up though, and the Fallschirmjager there are taken out finally by the Ranger Marauders as they suicide charge forwards. Getting this M7 into position is going to be quite important here. And moving these Marauders to maybe counter this L6 is also an idea that I would like to see occur. The Command Infantry is now coming up, Ranger Leader. That should have probably been there from the start to give the extra veterancy to the M1 gun, because then this L6 might already be dead. But he's brought it up now, remedied that mistake, and as you can see, finally baiting the MG34 into an engagement so the M4 can fire away. Just don't really want to lose this Jeep 30 cal for free. Coming up with some rifles there. And that's going to allow the front line to be pushed quite significantly. But here we see a HS-129 and an ME-109 coming in. Oh, I've got to be careful with the M4DD. Oh, wow. HS-129 failed to get the kill, used up all of its ammunition. HS-129 is going to be out of commission for a long time reloading. And yeah, the M4 didn't go down, so that's really unfortunate for the 3rd Fallschirmjager player, Gibster here. M7 in a nice position. If it starts wheeling more across, he could get a decent line of sight onto the majority of these units. I believe Salt can see them. So he should be able to attack move this M7 down and get line of sight onto these units. HS-129's helping out by strafing some of these rifles units and forcing them back. MG34 is still not dead. Getting the 30 cal and 50 cal onto target with this M4DD onto the MG34 is vital in order to actually kill it off. So not seeing that happen is quite unfortunate. The 5HE is not going to be enough really to kill the MG34 effectively. Ranger Assault's going to be burning out the Fallschirmjagers there quite easily. M1 guns being hit by the 81mm mortar. Probably likely to see that go down. HS-129 and ME-109 still strafing the rifles on the ground and are going to pick up a rifles kill there. So the Ranger Marauders are going to be taken out on the top side. But the L6 is now dead. But the M7, that's going to take out the 81mm mortar. If he kills off the MG34 and these Fallschirmjagers, that could open up a massive front on the top side, and I think Gibster's realizing this. He's going to have to try and pin down this M7, but the HS-129 is going to run out of fuel, and well, using it to also strafe ground targets and use up its cannon ammunition it's going to take even longer to reload and refuel now. So we might not see that HS-129 for a little while. Some anti-air being brought up. A couple of Bofors on this bottom side to help out the M4DD as it continues to push up. Looks like the M4 might be able to take out the LG-40. If he can get another accurate shot, yes he can. And now using this M4 to take out the MG34 would be ideal. Finally we see the Ranger supports pushing forwards in the middle, and like I was suggesting at the start, they're not really going to be hit by anything. I don't think Gibster can even see this happening because he doesn't have any recon on the airfield. So Salt's just gained all this ground simply by moving his Ranger supports forwards. So that's really nice to see that he finally took advantage of that, and now the 53% territory is in his favour. So points now counting up for Salt. I think on this map in general, Salt should be able to maintain the lead with the 2nd Infantry because of the M7s. But if the HS-129s continue to come in and air supremacy continues for the 3rd Fallschirmjagers, it could definitely counter what Salt has to offer. Currently the M4 is trying to push forwards.
Reporting for duty.
Gonna need more rifles here though to make it work. On the top side, the LG-42 is being hit hard by the M4 and the M7. Looks like the M7 might get the kill. No, not this time round. Let's jump back to the neutral perspective. Fallschirmjagers are going to be holding the bunkers on the top side, which is fine. But Gibster is going to want to do something about the advance of the infantry on the field here. So bringing up a sharpshooter to like the middle of the map would be a really good idea, so that he can spot these Ranger supports, maybe engage them with the sharpshooter, and then push them back with maybe like the mortar or something. Get this 81mm mortar to start hammering the Ranger supports in the middle. However, he has to be worried about this M4 that's continuing to push forwards with the rifles. The 50 cal is now in range of the MG34. Getting the 30 cal on target would also be nice, and he would be able to take out that MG34 in no time. Cubal munitions being used to resupply the mortar there. We're also seeing a Pak 40 now being brought up, and that's done a transmission damage to the M4. This M7, that needs to be moved forwards immediately, and use a fire position just short of the Pak 40 to start pinning that down and save the M4 before it gets killed. But that's going to be too late. M4 is going to go down there. I feel like Salt's was occupied elsewhere. But either way, he is going to probably be able to see this Pak 40 with this recon squad. He's also got another recon squad moving further up. But using this M7 to take it out as soon as possible is quite important, so that he doesn't lose anything unnecessarily. LG-42 going down is a nice kill. But he's got to start working on that Pak 40 ASAP. Otherwise he's going to lose these fire support units unnecessarily. Fallschirmjager being taken out there. Yeah, the Jeep 30 cals, they're not really worth wasting in my opinion. I think they can be incredibly useful. In the middle we're going to be seeing a rifle squad push forwards. ME-109's coming in. Finally reloaded. Going to be harassing the 30 cal Jeep. Both of the Bofors are on the bottom side at the moment, so if a HS-129 was brought in and it attacked the M7 on the top side, you could definitely get the kill there. Rifle squad going to be dying as they advance onto the Fallschirmjager. And in the middle, rifles just took a little bit too long to unload, and they are going to be taken out by the LG-40 before so. So losing a rifle squad for free in the middle there was a little unfortunate from Salt. He could have just unloaded the rifles and had them walk into a bush, just gain him a little bit more ground. M7's firing away though, definitely doing a lot of damage to these Fallschirmjagers, and we are seeing the 50 cals from the M7 stun up the ME-109 as it flies overhead.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like the choice of unit by Salt is the howitzer, 105mm howitzer here to take out the Pak 40, and the Pak 40 is finally destroyed. We're also seeing Gabby come in, almost shoot down the ME-109. That would have been a lovely kill there. MG-42 taken out on the top side as well. I feel like Gibster's really starting to struggle.
Ahead.
He doesn't have many troops on the board at all. And Salt has these really nice concentrations of units. Sorry about the camera there. Really nice concentrations of units available to be able to push up. L6 not being able to do anything because of the AT gun. You've got the M7s just able to slam all of this infantry in the open. And the way that Gibster really needs to deal with this is bring in a couple of Pak 41 Duellists and use smoke to get them close enough to like penetrate the M4s. So for example, you've got to keep the Fallschirmjagers alive so that they can pin down the infantry and take out the recon and stuff. And then you want to just bring in a Pak 41 Gallic, get it as close as you can, smoke it off, go through the smoke, slam the M4. That's what you want to do. On the top side you want to do the same, but for the M7 and the M15 CGMC here. So use your Fallschirmjagers to pin down the infantry, then move forwards with the Gallics and take out the rest. So HS129 going to be making the shots on the top side, but P47 is going to be coming in and it's going to be shot down. So it looks like Salt preemptively predicted that a HS129 would come back in to take on that priest, and it was nice to see him react to that effectively. So HS129's gone down now as well. Things not looking good for the third Fallschirmjäger player. I think maybe if he hadn't have strafed so much earlier on, then the HS129 would have been able to be used before the CGMC was there, and therefore would have been a lot more accurate in that strike, because what happened was HS129 had its morale affected by the anti-air and then was inaccurate in hitting the M7. That really affected its usefulness. Now we see the M5 guns with the 1200 meter range HE that I was talking about, slamming the infantry as it comes across the open. We've also got the M7 firing away onto this Luftwaffe Jäger here. And on the bottom side, well, the Gerlich is going to go down to the 107mm mortar very quickly, and Salt reacted to that very nicely. No mortar left on this bottom side anymore to smoke it off, so they saw it coming a mile off. I think it's almost too late on this bottom side for Gibster. The building was set alight there by the mortar. And that Fallschirmjäger is not going to have a fun time trying to fight the rifles in the open, especially with mortar fire coming in. Fallschirmjägers, they could definitely be moving forwards into cover and helping out. But there go the Fallschirmjägers, or the Fallschirmjäger, sorry. So down to 2-star veterancy, and if they get caught in the open, they might get pinned down here. Got to be careful. There we go. Bofors going to be pinning those down. Should have just kept them in the cover of this building here, and then they would have been able to micro them backwards and forwards. So Gibster looks like he's going to lose out with those Fallschirmjägers. On the top side here, the M7's taking out the LG42, while these two howitzers are dealing with the Flak 88. So Flak 88's a reasonable choice to try and deal with the M7 if you unload it close enough, but considering Salt already had one of the 105mm howitzers and Gibster knew that, bringing in a howitzer to this side seems like a bit of a waste of points, because it's just going to be constantly pinned down before it gets killed. So L6 coming in on the bottom side. Mustn't forget that there is an M4 here. So although this L6 might do some damage against the infantry in the buildings, as soon as it gets in line of sight of the M4, we're going to be seeing a very dead L6. I think what's happening at the moment though is the third Fallschirmjäger player is just trying to hold on. Unfortunately, he did lose his HS129, so he's going to have to work without that. But he could definitely still build up an air force strong enough to really do some damage to these forces. Now, Salt's got to be very careful here that he doesn't get over aggressive with these support units, because if he allows them to be killed off, he actually will end up having a massive dent in his front line. because he doesn't have anything else behind them to back them up. So moving forwards infantry squads like this in the middle, I mean, just count your blessings and don't really try it on, because you've got a lot of ground here in the middle just for free by having those support squads where they are. There's no need to try and suicide run them forwards. You can only really do that once you have units to back them up, like an M7 and so on. So here we see a HS-129 come in again with the ME-109, but there is 2 Thunderbolts available on the side of Salt. Make that 3 Thunderbolts available, so the M7's going to go down, but so is the HS-129, and swiftly following that is going to be the ME-109 once these Thunderbolts get on target. Gabby's going to be turning around there on a dime and getting onto the back of the HS or ME-109 to shoot that down. Beautifully camouflaged Thunderbolt there. Wonderful stuff. So, I think the last hope of the 3rd Fallschirmjager has just been crushed with them losing their air battle. He should have definitely identified that there was 2 Thunderbolts, because he saw Gabby earlier, and the 2nd Thunderbolt came out to shoot down the first HS-129. So knowing that there was 2 Thunderbolts already available and only bringing in 1 ME-109 was just kind of suicide. Lost both of those planes. There's a lot of points going in the favour of Assault. And at this bottom side now, the buildings are occupied in this factory, which is making it very hard for Gibster to push on with his Luftwaffe-Jäger. And it looks like he's running very low on Fallschirmjägers now, and he's having to rely on this reserve infantry that he has. L6 going to be taken out there by one of the M4s on the top side. And with these howitzers helping out, it's not going to be long until this infantry is pushed out of the bunkers, and might see this L6 go down to the M4 here. Getting the shots on that for sure. That's for sure. Pack 38 still not really enough to deal with the M4. Stug would be though. So bringing this Stug is a good idea for the top side at least. For the bottom side, I think it's going to need a little more than that. Constantly bringing in these L6s isn't the greatest idea in the world, because they're just constantly being taken out by this M4. And he doesn't really have anything to deal with the M4 at the moment. The only thing that I can think of that he has to deal with the M4 is either another Pack 40 or the Flak 88s. So bring in like a Flak 88 into the bottom side might be a nice idea, because he doesn't have the 2 howitzers to deal with, although he still has the 107mm mortar there that he has to worry about. So what's this? It's just going to be a Pack 41. I mean, there is still the opportunity to like smoke off a Pack 41 and go for the push onto the M4, but currently Salt's got the M4 in a pretty hard to spot position. It's covered off by a lot of these buildings. In the mid, with some recon from Salt, he's going to be starting to spot some of the buildings in these hangars as well. Currently spotting the LG-40, and that's being fired upon by the M4. So Fallschirmjägers there going to be taken out by the Bofors most likely. If not the Bofors, then the M4. LG-40 in the mid is dead. And we're seeing the rifles engage the Luftwaffe-Jäger as they push up. Now the L6 might be able to get onto line of sight of these rifles and hurt them quite significantly. But the M4 is still there. It's waiting to get the kill. Pack 41 is allowing itself to be pinned down by the Bofors. And then the mortar's just going to finish it off. So just not really microing these Pack 41s effectively enough. Gibster's got the right idea. Like, even when he's using the Air Force, it's got the right idea with using the ME-109s and the HS-129s to try and kill off the M7s and the M4s, but just didn't really execute properly. And I think the Pack 41s as well, just not ideal there. Pack 40 is probably going to be able to take out one of the M4s if he's lucky. Stug 3 is also moving up now, but Salt can see this coming. He's got the Grasshopper in the air now, and he has all of the airplanes he needs to cover that off. Don't think Gibster really has enough points to afford to bring in multiple ME-109s to defeat Salt's Air Force now. So that's really difficult for him to deal with. And we see the howitzers now coming in to destroy the PaK-40 as well. So that's another problem he has to deal with. And things just building up here against him completely. Gibster is just not having a great time. Salt has all of the answers to everything that the 3rd Fallschirmjager can throw at him. And even the M5 gun has the range to take on the Stug 3. And he's got to be really careful. That M5 gun, 14 AP versus 10 armor, 1200 meter range. Stug 3 is just walking into an ambush there. And it's already nearly completely... yeah. completely stunned. But before that happens, M5 gun is going to get the kill. We're also seeing the Thunderbolts come in. They're all going for the strafing run. Beautiful. Onto the Fallschirmjäger and the Fallschirmjägers. Look at that trio. Well, they're flying very close together, aren't they? That's some crazy stuff they got going on there. Gabby leading the charge. Slamming the Fallschirmjägers in those bunkers. Also got a P-38 Lightning coming in. Oh wow, lovely strike. 2 25 HE power bombs there being used to take out the MG and the Fallschirmjäger. The Fallschirmjäger left on 2 health, and now we've got the M4 in the mid. Going to be engaging those. Maybe get these Thunderbolts to finish them off. It's lovely to watch these Thunderbolts move around in unison here. Just feels like pilot and his wingman flying together there. But we are going to be seeing, I think that was the Opel Blitz being destroyed there next to the 120mm mortar. M4 is going to be taking out the Fallschirmjägers, and in the bot side, well, things are completely falling apart while we were watching those airplanes, and now we have a +2 coming in for Salt. Looks like he is going to win this game outright, but Gibster is not going down without a fight. He's bringing in 2 more Stugs. A Befehlsstug and a normal Stug. The PaK-40 takes out the M10 as well. Wow. This PaK-40 still alive. Managed to get away from the 105mm howitzers. What a hero. Managed to pick off that M10. And that's not going to make too much of a difference right now. But definitely a start. I mean, it's going to mean that there's one less 1,200 meter range AP unit to take on his Stugs that he's bringing up. But I just feel he's like so low on everything. On infantry, on maybe not tanks, but definitely infantry. He's not bringing in any more Fallschirmjägers. Maybe some coming into the bottom side of the map, but he's been relying on these Luftwaffenjäger and even Sturmpioneers in the top side near this bunker. And again, I'm not sure why the camera's doing that today, but zooming in all the way to the Sturmpioneers as they get slammed by some Ranger supports and the CGMC there. Another Grasshopper coming in for Salt. He just has complete air supremacy. He can do what he likes. OS is going to be coming in to get accurate shots onto the PaK-40 once the Grasshopper spots it. That duck going down is a bit of a waste, honestly. It moved up to give the HE shells to the M5 gun, but ended up getting taken out by the PaK-40 instead. And there's not really much Gibster can do, but we'll see what he tries. This Opel Blitz, please don't let it get destroyed. Thank you. Unload your Fallschirmjäger, get them out of there. You're going to need more than one Fallschirmjäger squad to take on 2 units of rifles, a Ranger leader, a Ranger assault squad, 2 Bofors, and an M4 double D. We've also got an M5 gun rolling in on the bottom side to deal with any tanks. This M5 gun on the top side's very much waiting to take on these 2 Stugs. And we've also got the M1 gun up here rolling forwards now, and I believe this is a second M5 gun on the way. Oh, one shot, one kill onto the Befehlsstug. That's really, really bad. Really, really bad. That was an unvetted M5 gun. Getting that one shot kill. Now going to be hit by the mortar and the Pak 40. Pak 40 might be able to finish it off. Mortar will. No, not quite. Pak 40 almost gone down there. M5 guns falling back. Oh, that mortar's landing closer and closer every time. 25 HE power bombs coming in from the lightning though. I don't think that mortar's going to survive much longer, and neither is the Pak 40 as it gets hit by the 105mm howitzer. Lovely stuff. M5 gun being brought up. Going to soon be in line of sight of this Stug 3 on the top side. Here it goes. Trying to get those shots. Stug 3 trying to get into cover. Yeah, this is just total domination now from Salt. And Gibster's just not giving up. Pretty much all that's going on here. The +2 in favour of Salt. 1,800 points now. And there we see the M5 gun take out the Stug in the top side. And that's going to push the front line so far in Salt's favour. We're now going to be up to probably about 65% territory lead. And, well, we're even seeing some SBW AB41s come up, and I'm not really sure how effective these are going to be. These are the recon units. They have the same gun as the L6. ME-109 trying to gain something back from the Thunderbolts, but a Thunderbolt immediately on his tail. With the help of the Bofors, they're going to be shooting those down, even with the Thunderbolts running low on fuel. It was good timing. I mean, if he had brought in the ME-109 once it flew too close to the spawn and ran out of fuel, then he would have just been able to chase it and shoot it down, at least get one of them back, and then maybe start to build up his ME-109s in order to kill off more of the opposing air force. But I mean, it's way too late for that, even, because the AA is in position now. It's actually further forwards than his tanks, and it just makes it so difficult for like a HS-129 to come in and kill off those tanks and armor that it's just in general really annoying at this point. And the ME and these howitzers, I mean, they just took out another Pak 40. So the M4 double Ds in the top side are just able to continuously run forwards. The VulcanHDGaming here are pinned down. They're being charged by Ranger supports in the mid. Grasshopper's still flying about, and barely any units left for Gibster. Still holding on hope, but 2 minutes left until Salt gains victory. If anything can happen, 120mm mortar getting into range of the M5 gun is not good at all. VulcanHDGaming still pinned down here. Ranger support, if they could get into the building next to them, they can make them surrender. Seeing the SBWAB come up. I guess in line of sight of the M4, it's very dead. It's actually in line of sight of the M5 gun though, so it might still be dead. Yes, it is. And with the VulcanHDGaming pinned down, well, they're gonna fall behind enemy lines. They're gonna open up onto the Ranger support. They might even kill off the Ranger support, honestly. But they're gonna be pinned down. And they're gonna be hammered by the M4 and the M5 gun. So hopefully Salt sees that and tries to make those guys surrender. If not, it's just going to continue to shred Fallschirmjagers on the bottom side. We're also going to be seeing another Flak 88 come in. But no amount of Flak 88s is going to win this one. VulcanHDGaming finally surrendered in the mid. 71% territory in Salt's favour. So what happened in this game? So the third Fallschirmjager, basically what they should have done is not allowed the HS-129s to be shot down for starters. Buying enough ME-109s, especially like in this scenario, you've got to think about what the 2nd Infantry has. They've got the M4s, they've got the M7s, and they've got the howitzers. That's the stuff that they have. They also have the M5 guns. That's the sort of stuff that they have in order to take on your units from 1,200 meter range. And how do you counter that? Well, you counter that with your air force. So bringing in sort of a skeleton crew in order to remain defensive at the start of the game, and then build up your air force early on, would have been a really nice way to like overwhelm the enemy moving forwards, especially on that map, because keeping them in the open allows your recon to like constantly spot units. So that's what you would really want to do as a third Fallschirmjager. Use your air force more efficiently. Unfortunately, the 2nd Infantry even got the airspace with the Thunderbolts, so it worked out really well in Salt's favour in the end, because he lost out on that. Otherwise, bringing in a Stug earlier on might have been a nice idea, rather than relying on those L6s so much. In Phase A, L6s are pretty much all you get access to. But moving into Phase B, bringing in Stug straight away to start dealing with those M4s would have been a nice idea before any M5 guns arrive on the field. But hindsight's 2020, and at the end of the day, Salt played very, very well, making sure that he overwhelmed his opponent, and you can see by the kills and losses there towards the end. 4,130 kills to 945 losses, Salt doing exceptionally well. M4 got plenty of kills. I mean, these L6s, a lot of them just went to waste. Let's see what actually killed a lot of Salt's units here. So the Pack 40, yeah, nice job with that, picking off the M10. Flak 88 managed to get an M1 gun and an M4, so kind of paid itself off, which is nice. And that's what you got to do with these Flak 88s, even if they are dying to like long range howitzer fire. As long as they're paying themselves off, they're worth buying every time. HS129 did take out one of the M7s, but that's all. And having that shot down was not ideal. And then the other HS129 just killed off some rifles, so using that to strafe earlier on was a really bad idea, because it meant that the reload took so long that by the time he used it again, it was in Phase B, and his opponent had brought up AA. So Gibster just dropping the ball with his sort of tactical choices, I guess, throughout the game, really like added up and meant he lost a lot of units whenever he tried to do anything, and that's why the kill death ratio was so far against him throughout this game. But either way, quite a nice game to watch. Not often I do a 1v1 on my channel, so hopefully that's something a little bit different as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.